Chapter 8 Moonlit Bay. The path to Moonlit Bay wound along the cliffs like a forgotten ribbon, half swallowed by wild grass and sea lavender. Clara walked slowly, letting the night wrap around her like a familiar shawl. The moon hung low, round, luminous, almost watchful, as if guiding her steps with a gentle silver hand. Each footfall felt deliberate, as though she were crossing into a place where time moved differently, where the past and present brushed shoulders in the quiet dark. Soft inhale, the sound of distant waves brushing the shore. The air was cool, tinged with the scent of salt and the faint sweetness of blooming night jasmine. When she reached the final bend, the world seemed to exhale. Moonlit Bay opened before her like a secret whispered by the ocean. It was exactly as Elias had drawn it, curved like a crescent moon, sheltered by towering rocks that rose like ancient guardians. The sand glowed pale as starlight, untouched and serene, as though the cove had been waiting for her. Clara stepped forward, her heart beating in quiet anticipation. She felt a strange pull, as if the cove recognized her, as if it had been expecting her arrival. The moon cast a shimmering path across the water, leading her toward the shoreline. Something glinted near the rocks. She approached slowly, her footsteps muffled by the soft sand. Kneeling, she brushed away a thin layer of sand to reveal a rusted compass, its needle frozen in place. The metal was worn, its once polished surface dulled by years of exposure to the elements. She lifted it gently, feeling its surprising weight in her palm. Beside it lay the remnants of an old campfire, charred wood, a circle of stones, and a message carved into the largest one. For Lila. I will return. Her breath caught. The words were weathered, softened by time, but unmistakably carved by a hand full of longing. The letters were uneven, as though etched in haste or desperation, yet each stroke carried a tenderness that made Clara's chest tighten. She touched the inscription gently, as though touching Elias's promise itself. The stone was cool beneath her fingertips, but the air around her felt charged, alive with memory, with devotion, with the echo of a love that refused to fade. A soft breeze swept through the cove, carrying the scent of salt and something faintly floral, roses perhaps. The fragrance was subtle, almost imagined, yet it lingered long enough to make her wonder if Lila had once stood here, breathing in the same scent, waiting for the man she loved. Clara closed her eyes. Soft pause. The hush of waves. She wasn't alone in this story anymore. The cove felt inhabited, not by people but by emotions, by echoes, by the remnants of a promise that had outlived its makers. She could almost see Elias sitting by the fire, carving those words into the stone with trembling hands. She could almost see Lila standing at the water's edge, searching the horizon for a ship that never came. Clara opened her eyes slowly, letting the moonlight settle around her like a blessing. She walked along the shoreline, her fingers trailing through the cool air. The waves lapped gently at her feet, as though greeting her, as though acknowledging her presence in a place that had once held so much hope. She found herself imagining the night Elias had been here. The fire crackling. The moon full and bright. The sound of the sea whispering promises he desperately wanted to keep. She imagined him holding the compass, watching its needle tremble, wondering if it would guide him back to Lila, or if fate had other plans. Clara's heart ached for him. For both of them. She sat on a smooth rock near the water, the compass resting in her lap. The moon's reflection shimmered across the waves, creating a path of silver light that stretched toward the horizon. It felt symbolic, almost sacred. This is where he waited, she whispered, her voice barely audible above the surf. This is where he hoped. The wind stirred, brushing her cheek like a gentle touch. Clara looked around the cove once more, taking in every detail. The rocks, the sand, the carved message, the remnants of the fire. She felt a deep connection to this place, as though it held answers she hadn't yet learned to ask. She wasn't sure how long she sat there, listening to the sea breathe in and out. Time felt different here. Slower, softer, suspended. Eventually she rose, brushing the sand from her hands. She tucked the compass into her pocket, feeling its weight settle against her heart. There was more to uncover. More to understand. And perhaps more to heal. As she turned to leave, she glanced back at the carved message one last time. For Lila. I will return. The words glowed faintly in the moonlight, a promise carved into stone, carried across time and now placed gently into her hands. Clara whispered into the night, I'll find the rest of your story. And the sea, ever faithful, whispered back,